Hello everyone, and welcome to the Providence Trial Guide for Risk of Rain Returns. In this video series, I aim to help you clear each of the trials by going over their requirements and modifiers, along with how to pass the trial normally, and then how to obtain the Gold Crown score. At the end of the video, I will have a full run of the GC completion if you would like to watch. I'll try and keep these videos short and informative, so let's get right into it. In today's video, we will look at the trial Slide to the Finish. This trial is for Commando and requires you to make it to the end of the stage before the timer runs out. In terms of modifiers, your skill has been changed from the Tactical Dive to the Tactical Slide. You start with one Afterburner, this will give you 2 extra skill charges totaling to 3 uses, and your health is capped at 65 with no regen. Regarding the map, falling off is an auto fail and dying will reset you to the nearest checkpoint. Okay, so now that we know the basics, how do we go about completing this trial? As for most of the trials, the normal completion is relatively lenient. This map has multiple routes which you can take, and ideally you pretty much just want to take the safest route. As for sliding, it's good to know that you can jump while sliding, as shown on screen here, and you can also slide whilst in a jump as well. You want to ensure that you slide jump over gaps to keep your momentum, and when on long straights, use your slide when it's off cooldown. The last important thing to note is to pick up the Hopu feather at the first vine here. This will make the rest of the trial so much easier. With all the important information covered, I will now quickly show you a path that I recommend and some points of interest. So on the first split, you're going to want to take this upper path, and at the end, as mentioned before, you want to grab that feather. At this section, you can take the upper or middle path, but if you're not confident about getting through the enemies, I would just say go up and over the top. At this point, ideally you'll want to stay on the higher path, and the Hopu feather we picked up from before should make this easier. You don't have to slide here if you want to ensure that you don't fall, but if you do, just hop over to the side and make your way back up. Here I would say always take the vine up and clear that first gap. It'll always be faster than taking that bottom route, and once you clear the first gap, if you fall, there's a geyser at the end which will give you the boost you need to get back to the main platform. On the last stretch, make sure you have at least one slide off cooldown or about to come off cooldown by the time you get to all the goat hooves, as you will need it to clear this last jump. You should activate your slide right about here, and that'll get you straight to the end. Now it's time for the GC run. Speed here is key, and we'll be taking a slightly different route along with picking up a few extra items on the way. You'll need to be comfortable with slide jumping to maintain pace here, so make sure you got that down pat. For the GC run, follow the path as normal till this point, where you will jump up instead of climbing up the rope. When you get to the titans in the holes, just slide when approaching and jump when your player model is inside the titan. The biggest change is here, where you will drop down to grab these 2 hooves and climb back up with your double jump. You'll then want to slide jump the gap after so that you land onto the geyser like this, to grab this hoof in the air. If you don't get it, it's not a big loss, but if you are just missing out on time, this might help. For this part, you're going to want to stay on top at all costs. Note here, I only slide jump once, and then I just walk most of the way. For the next few parts, just make sure to slide when possible and utilize the double jump for gaps when sliding, primarily this spot right here. At this part, you'll want to jump off as soon as you are level with the floor here. Slide when you land, and then jump and double jump to reach the top platform, from which you will double jump again with the remaining momentum. Then you'll want to slide and jump up these stairs, make sure to get the red whip, and then slide jump to clear the gap. On the last straight, it's same as before, but if you have slides to spare, use them to avoid the attacks. You want to keep red whip active. In my clear overall, I had some failed jumps and ran into some walls, losing a few seconds. I still made the time, so you do have some wiggle room. And after all that, you should have the GC completion for Slide to the Finish. Congratulations! Hopefully this guide was useful to you, and if you stuck around to the end, thank you for watching. And as always, feel free to add your tips in the comments below for others to read. The rest of the video will just be the uncut clear for my GC run, so feel free to stick around for that if you wish. If not, have a great day, and I'll see you next time.